Before we begin, feel free to join my Discord. The link is in the description below. Need for Speed Underground 2. Now I did a side-by-side of this already, so if you haven't seen it, I'll have a link for it in the description below. This video will be dedicated to frame rate, with some talks of graphics. Right off the bat, you see the Xbox looking different. The bumper is not the same as the others, and that was my mistake. I changed it when I made my last side-by-side of the game and forgot to change it back to default. Also, the camera is a lot more zoomed in than the others. I reloaded the game and I couldn't get the same camera as the rest. This is the farthest the camera can get away from the car. I decided to compare the PAL and ntsc Underground 2 because I was curious about the difference in frame rate. Generally, PlayStation 2 ntsc is 720x480 and PAL is 720x576. PAL has more lines, which is why ntsc games look stretched on PAL TVs and vice versa on PAL games on the ntsc TVs. Furthermore, I've read that PAL games run at a max frame rate of 50 while ntsc can hit up to 60. That's because PAL TVs run at 50 Hz while ntsc run at 60 Hz. But overall, most PlayStation 2 games don't even reach those numbers. As you can see in this comparison, the two PlayStation 2 versions are generally neck to neck. No clear winner overall. Moving on to the rest of the versions, the Xbox runs real smooth, generally 30 to 50 frames, and with Gamecube running pretty slow, it runs basically the same as the PlayStation 2 does. The two Windows Need for Speeds never go under 60 frames, but this is also a modded PC, so it's not really fair. The modded one is sweet. This mod actually has a ton of options to tinker with. I set it up this dark on purpose because I like how it pops out all the colors, but you can still get all the enhanced visuals with a lighter sky like the rest. The mod replaces most textures and adds a lot of extra stuff such as lighting, contrast, well, just about everything under the sun. But man, take a look at that street. It looks good. The Xbox is showcasing some nice visuals in the street. The GameCube frame rate overall does drop lower than the PlayStation 2 and it's a bit more blurry. Looking back at the PS2 versions, the PAL copy seems to have slightly better quality to it. It's a tiny bit more sharper. It's hard to see, but the body shop sign is more crisp, probably to do with the increased lines. Well, let's take a look at each one in full screen. On the Xbox, the FPS is all over the place. Runs from 60 to 37 on this selection. Nothing terrible though, all tolerable frame rates. PS2 PAL mostly just sticks around 30-35 range, some drops here and there into the low 20s. PS2 ntsc is the same as the PAL in terms of frame rate, just some very small visual differences, and I mean small. The computer on my modern PC never breaks 60 frames, but I can imagine computers when this game was released would have a hard time keeping 60 if they only had a middle range tower. The modded one is dark, and I admit that it may be a tad too dark, and that was just my choice, but I just love how all the colors pop and the HD textures look great. The GameCube hits 30 a lot, but mostly I see it around the mid-20s, never dropping below 25 that often. Putting them all together is fun to watch. Let's do some drag racing and see what differences we may get. More or less, the frame rate's generally the same as before, nothing special to see. Well, that's all I have for you guys today. It's a short and sweet one, mostly just want to talk about the frame rates. I did do this side-by-side before, the link will be in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment down below. Thank you so much.